Hi, good evening, welcome. Dennis is back with me today, so we're going to be able to talk and either get you riled up, get us riled up, and maybe we'll get some phone calls. But I've been scouring the news from the past week, and there isn't a lot of news about New London. It's been a little quiet here, so Dennis is going through the paper now.
Oh, this is yesterday's paper.
Oh, so I decided, and Dennis brought some stuff too. We're just going to rile everybody up about what's going on with the world, the United States, and the left, the ISIS versus ISIL, Obama, who continues to be totally clueless, if not very planned and cohesively deciding to destroy America, which he said he was going to transform, and that's what he has done, to the ruination of America. And I can basically, I have a whole thing that we can prove what he has done. That, first of all, to let you know...
But nobody's listening.
Huh?
But nobody's listening.
Nobody's listening,
You can prove to your...
So we just want to talk to you?
No, I meant out there in the country. You know, you're saying about you can prove what Obama has done wrong. Nobody's listening.
No.
Nobody cares. They don't want to believe.
Well, they just want to put somebody like Hillary Clinton in the office who really is dumber than dirt.
Well, you know, you keep those handouts coming.
Yeah.
And,
That's the other thing.
that's what the Democrats are all
that's
about.
all they're all about, giving away
Unfortunately. Never
handouts.
used to be like that.
I talked to a young lady today, over the weekend, who I had done the Hebron Elementary School show, and she came up because her father was doing some photography, and I had done the lighthouse photography, and she said that, I don't know how it got into it, but she said she was 18 years old, she's going to vote for the first time. Oh, and I said, who are you interested in? She doesn't like Hillary Clinton, but she likes Bernie Sanders.
That's
And I'm thinking, I said, did you really do your homework? And she goes, well, no, she didn't care for Trump, and she doesn't care with what was going on. She didn't really like Bush, with all the debt. And I said, well, are you aware that Obama accused Bush of being non-American for raising our debt $4 to $5 trillion when he was in office? When he left office, we had $9 trillion in debt. But she was unaware that our debt level right now is like $20 trillion, and that's all on Obama.
When Bush left office, the debt was $9 trillion.
Right.
And when Obama, since he's been in office, he has doubled it. He has raised it more than all the presidents before him put together.
But nobody,
one man.
Right. But nobody's listening.
I know they're not listening. Ray's listening.
Well, obviously, but it was still on yellow.
Or the credit card person's listening.
Oh, and have you heard on Lee's show? Everybody likes, I guess, Frank, but they're starting to go against him because he's saying we ought to be ashamed of ourselves for saying what we're saying. And why isn't he ashamed of what he is saying? That because it's like saying we're not allowed to have our opinion, but he's only allowed to have.
Yeah,
his.
I heard that today. I wasn't shocked. Go ahead.
Good evening. You're on.
Hi, Eric.
Hi. How you doing, Ray? Oh, I didn't put my hearing aids all the
Eric.
way up today. Yeah. How are you, Ray?
Good. How are you, Eric?
Not bad. Where were you last week?
I missed you last week.
He never listens. He never listens to what
I
we ask
wasn't
him.
home
You ever
last
notice
week.
that?
He can't hear.
He can't hear?
I
No?
went to church.
You were at church?
Yeah.
All righty. Did you have a
Yeah.
good conversation with God?
Huh?
Did you have a good conversation with God?
With who?
With God. With
The
God.
person you went to church for?
Who do you worship
Yeah.
at church?
Hi, Dennis.
You're slick, Ray. You're
How
slick.
are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Ray, what are you doing for the holidays?
Nothing. One of my sisters.
Oh,
Well, that's
okay.
doing something.
Yeah, I want it for Christmas, you know.
Are you making dinner or is she making dinner?
Yeah. So
Oh,
she might be over there, so I'm going over there, you know.
yeah?
So how you doing?
No, I'm
Hey,
not
Ray.
doing bad.
Hey, Ray, is there fire trucks going by your house?
Ah,
Is there fire trucks going by your house?
I didn't hear it.
Okay, I'm done.
No, you made it go by. Dennis,
What?
What?
you made it go by.
What did she say?
I made it go by?
Oh,
No, you made it go by.
okay.
All righty, Ray, we got a lot of stuff tonight.
I'll see you, Dennis.
All right, you take
bye,
care.
Ray. Where was I? You and I are
hadn't
supposed to
moved.
have senior moments. I have the senior moments for the two of us. So what was I saying?
Good question. Good question. Anyway.
Somebody was listening because it just went right out of my head.
Oh, the $9 trillion.
Oh,
and
yes.
it's 18 trillion.
So you have this man that comes into office. He comes in there with so much hope behind him. I mean, not just black hope. I mean, white hope. People clung to him probably
Hope or dope.
probably as much
Hope or
as,
dope.
if not more, than people hung on to Kennedy when he ran.
Yeah.
And in less than 7 years,
Yeah.
he has doubled our deficit. Now, maybe that don't mean much to people.
But if
But-
it's un-American for Bush to raise it 4 to 5 trillion, why isn't it un-American
Because
for what he's done?
there's a,
See, and this is the media has given him a free ride, and this is why people can't stand the media.
well, I don't blame him. I mean, the media is so one-sided, most of it. I think
Yeah.
my Fox News is very equal, and I'll probably get a call on that.
No, I agree with you. I mean,
But-
the only other thing I don't understand
and
is
there's
is
times when
Juan
CNN
Williams.
can be pretty good too.
Yeah.
But they lean towards one way. If my son was here right now, he'd run in here and smack me for saying that.
Why?
Because he hates Fox News. He thinks they're the worst. But he's young. He don't know any better.
A lot of the kids. Well, no, a lot of the kids I've heard are just the other side. I have.
So with that thought in mind, I don't need to keep it up here. But so now we're up to 18, 19 trillion dollars.
Right.
All right. So the man's going to be out of office
In a year.
hopefully in a year.
Oh, he'll be at it. Believe
Well,
me.
you never know with this guy. He can change things around. So now Trump gets into office. Now let's take that equation out. Let's not say Trump. Who that is running for presidency in the Republican Party right now actually has the talent or the knowledge to try to get that deficit down as president? Who has the experience?
There's only one man with experience.
Who would that be?
Drew,
Say
you
it.
listening?
Say it.
Trump.
Okay. I rest my case for a little while.
For a little while.
Little while.
We'll
I'm not
see, because
done.
there's another debate tonight.
Yes, I know.
And I really hope, Wolf Blitzer is moderating the debate. I don't know who the other subpar news people you can call them, because that's what they are at that station. If they even want to call themselves journalists. And I don't think Wolf Blitzer, who's been there for a long, long, long time, is going to allow
Is it just
himself-
him?
I don't think it's just him. I'm looking forward to Dana Perino in January, because somebody said she was really hot.
But what's that got to do with it? You're
she's
saying that
a-
on TV?
and why
You
not?
want another smack in the head from your wife?
So I don't think Wolf Blitzer is going to allow himself to be embarrassed by stupid questions and everybody else up on stage saying, is this all you have to come and ask us? You don't ask these questions
Well,
to
I'm-
Democrats.
I'm hoping that the media learned from the last one, where you had the candidates up there that turned around and started tearing into the media. Because, you don't have something like this going on and you get a bunch of people that are running the debate up there talking crazy crap. You want to know what these people are going to do for the country. The people want to know what they're going to do for them. What are you going to bring to the table? How are you going to help us solve the many problems we have? I don't want to know about, well, Christie said this about Trump, or Trump said this about Cruz, or Cruz said this about Rubio. I don't really give a crap.
Right.
I
wanna know what
take
they're
it
gonna
outside,
do.
boys, and let whoever comes through come back in and talk.
Uh, That's it. But I can't see. 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 I can't any Democrat. I'm sure
Any
there's
Democrat?
any Democrat. I'm sure there are some good Democrats out there that feel more towards going towards the right, or they're tending to lean towards the right, because if they don't, they know they could be out of a job next year. Look how many, because over the past 2 elections, how many people have changed. I mean, I heard it this morning on Lee's show about he had somebody from the state, and how Governor Malloy is thinking about a 3rd term already. This man can't possibly think he's going to get elected for a 3rd term. And if the people in this state voted for Malloy for a 3rd term, they really show how stupid they are.
I think a lot of the Democrats in this state, and possibly in our city, are so nervous about the fact that Republicans can take some kind of control. Although the Republicans didn't do bad this last election as far as mayors and governors go, all except for here. But they took a lot of seats. But the main part of the state, they have such, they're so set in their ways, the Democrats, that they fear losing that if a Republican should get into office, which I don't know what they are. You work with them, you work with the person. And because of that, I think they would vote for any Democrat, whether they like them or not. They're going to vote for them because they want to keep the status quo of what they got going.
They don't think anything of voting for anybody else besides a Democrat. They've got a D at the end of their name. They have to vote that way. It doesn't matter.
Well, they'll go to hell.
Well, that's basically it. And it doesn't matter how much more we can go into debt, or how much more we're going to have to give to everybody, but it doesn't matter. A point was brought up today. Why aren't people in this country being outraged about bringing more people, refugees? It doesn't matter from what country you bring them in, but they're saying from Syria or anything, that they don't have jobs. Jobs are scarce right now. And you allow these people to come in, and they'll eventually start taking those jobs for lower wages. And we've got more
because
people
to them, those wages that they'll take them for is 10 times, if not more, than what they would possibly could get where they came from.
Oh, that's true.
So, $8 an hour to them is like friggin' $40 an hour to someone from America.
It could be.
Well, it is.
And then
then they turn around and they send a lot of these foreigners. They'll turn around and they'll send all their money out of the country. Do you ever hear about how much money the Mexicans send out of the country?
Yeah.
You're talking probably billions of dollars.
Yeah. But it was also mentioned on the radio today. There was an ad in the paper. I don't know if it was the Hartford Courant or the New London Day, for a job offer for somebody. A quality person for the state. I think it was for IT person or something like that, at $14 an hour, and it really was funny considering. And you want to pay people at McDonald's $15 an hour with absolutely no skills whatsoever.
They brought that somebody on Lee's show brought that up today about. You want to give someone in the back room that's making sure the hamburgers are cooked right, or cooked at a certain temperature, or the milkshakes are chilled to just the right temperature. You want to give them $15 an hour, but you want to give an EMT person that's rushing to save somebody's life.
Yes, EMT.
Less than $15 an hour. How did our priorities get so screwed up?
It's the same thing that I just keep saying over and over. We just can't fix stupid, and it is just amazing that we keep putting out people from schools.
They're coming for you.
What?
They're coming for you.
Okay. We keep putting out people from schools who come out dumber and dumber. And that's not all the schools. I mean, I was at a dinner last night for a friend, and this other person said their kid, she lives in Lyme, and she sends her kid to the magnet school, STEM high school, and they love it. And they're learning so much, and I was thrilled. Finally, you hear some good things coming out. The New London Science and Technology Magnet School is doing a really good job. But you don't hear it from. You hear it from the parents who don't live in New London, as opposed to the parents who do live in New London. So, I have a couple of things.
Well, before you go there, I want to ask the audience a question. There was an article in yesterday's paper that says parents push for a return of recess for their children. And it's saying how, after preschool, the recess slowly goes away. There's no more recess for kids. And they need that. They need to burn off that energy. So anybody out there know if the kids at the New London schools, elementary, say 5 on down, if they have recess?
They do.
They do have recess?
They do.
Oh, well, that's good.
I'm not sure how much time it could be 15 to 30 minutes. It's not a lot of time.
Well, when I was a kid, it used to be the length of a class.
Yeah, so it could be up to an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. I know, they should have...
See, it says here, it went from, this kid in particular, he's now 7. His recess went from 50 minutes of PE, to 20 minutes of recess every day, to just 50 minutes of PE only 3 days a week.
Wow. They must be learning. Hey, they must be learning an awful lot if they're going to take away their recess, right?
Well, hey, I mean, the kids need it.
I
think
know
they need
it.
But what do they do when they take it away? What do they do with them?
Look, they've taken away a lot of the extracurricular activities or activities to learn. Did you have band when you were in school?
Yes.
All right. Was there a chorus?
Not where I went to high school.
We had band. Not that if you wanted to be a band, we had a chorus. We had gym. There were all these other extracurricular activities that really add to a child's education, and studies have shown that it makes a child smarter. That you have to have all these other activities. Where is that today? I know it's there.
We probably had too many. I don't know.
You hear about I do hear about the New London band.
Yeah, New London has a good band.
Right.
They've done some serious winning.
Right.
If you ever been to, well, in my day they called it a cavalcade of music.
Never heard of that.
Well, they might have another name for it now, but what it is every year you get these high school bands come in from all over to a different school every year, and they have this big, huge competition. And they have not only the music, but they have the for lack of a better word, the dancing on the field. Everything's coordinated, choreographed,
Yeah.
the whole thing. And what's really cool about that, if you ever get a chance to go to one, sit up high in the bleachers, because it gives you a better sight of what they're doing as far as choreography goes. But I tell you, the last one I went to, it was some time back, was at NFA. And they had this band from New York. And these guys were incredible. I mean, these aren't no slouch bands. I mean, they are tight to the half a beat. And you got your drum percussions, you got your horns. There's times when the horns will sound like a guitar. I mean, and then they got the choreographing going with it, and the flags going. I mean, it's incredible, and the amount of time it must take for the coaches, I guess that's what you would call them, maybe conductors. The amount of time it takes to put all that together is almost as much time, if not more, than what it takes a coach to put a football team together. And they practice. You got to have good grades to be in it.
Okay.
I mean, it's next time New London. I gotta go next time New London does it. If anyone knows when the next one is, please call. But it's amazing.
I was given a paper, and I thought it was pretty unique. We have, Obama refuses to call ISIS what it is. He calls it ISIL. So here's an explanation of the difference between the terms ISIS and ISIL. I've been suspicious of the term ISIL, to which the administration stubbornly clings to. ISIS equals Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. Iraq is to the east of Jordan, shaped like the hatchet, and Syria is to the north. ISIL is the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant.
What's the Levant?
Iraq is still to the east of Jordan, remember, shaped like the hatchet, and the Levant is a term that comes from the rising of the sun, i.e. to the east, and is basically the land along the Mediterranean that includes Lebanon, Israel, and those countries along that region. By saying ISIL, you negate Israel as its own country and lump it in with the rest of the countries along the Mediterranean. And Israel sort of disappears, loses its sovereignty, and becomes part of the Levant, which is therefore part of ISIL. If you wondered, as I have, why all government agencies, and especially Obama, calls it ISIL, and they spell it out every time it's used instead of ISIS, as the rest of the world hears the answer. Decoding Obama's speech reveals some startling revelations. In one press conference after another, when referring to the Muslim terrorist supergroup ISIS, United States President Barack Obama will use the term ISIL instead of their former name, ISIS, or current name, Islamic State. Have you ever wondered why about that? Here's the difference. What makes up the near exact center? What makes up the near exact center of the Muslim Levant? Israel. ISIL stands for Islamic State of Iraq and Levant. Now, to us Westerners, we don't really make much of a distinction. But honestly, from our perspective, it's all about the same. But how would a Muslim living in the Middle East view it? Just what the Levant is, the Levant anyway? Not much more. Let's take a look. The geographical term Levant refers to a multinational region in the Middle East. Okay, I said it's a land bridge between Turkey to the north and Egypt to the south. If you look on a map, however, in the near exact middle of the nations that comprise the Levant, guess what you see? It's Israel. When Barack Obama refers over and over to Islamic State as ISIL, he is sending a message to Muslims all over the Middle East that he personally does not recognize Israel as a sovereign nation, but as a territory belonging to the Islamic State. Now you know why Obama says he has no plan, no goal, and no stated aim for dealing with ISIS. But he does have a plan, and a really nasty, diabolical one. Obama's plan is to drag his feet for as long as he can, doing only the bare minimum that Congress forces him to do, which is nothing. His plan is to buy ISIL as much time as possible to make as many gains as they can. If you listen to Obama's press secretary, the spokesperson for the State Department, and his joint chief of staff painstakingly spell out the letters ISIL, there's no doubt in your mind, and it's working. The Islamic State has garnered millions of dollars, a vast cache of weapons, and in their latest foray have captured Syrian fighter jets, 12 commercial passenger planes. With each passing day that Obama fulfills his stated aim of doing nothing, the Islamic State grows by leaps and bounds. The ultimate goal, of course, has not changed and will never change. The ultimate goal is the destruction of Israel. And a friend told me today that God will never let Israel go down. But they don't believe in
Well,
God.
you know, I wonder what he's waiting for. I mean, how many more people got to die? How many more kids have got to die? How many women have got to die? You know, I mean, what's he waiting for?
I think if a Muslim woman in the Middle East, if they're under this guise of ISIS, she's really got to be taken so much by either these men, or she is, because she's not learned and she's treated like slaves and like a piece of meat, and she's as stupid as they come.
There was
And the point is that they don't want their women to be educated,
no.
and they do whatever they want. Now, what woman in their right mind wants to be treated like this?
And don't forget, Hillary is taking money from countries that believe just that. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
So,
Are you all set?
go ahead. We'll go to the next afterwards. Go ahead.
Okay, I heard a thing on the radio today before I came here,
Oh, we're going to get some calls. Go ahead.
that at this bank, this Muslim guy went into the bank, and the bank gave him a check in his wife's name, and he freaked, and he started screaming and hollering at the teller that you cannot do that. That is against his beliefs or whatever it was. That you have to take her name off that check and put my name on it. So the woman says, well, I'll have to get a manager. So they brought a manager over, and he's freaking out on her too. Eventually what happened was the bank took the check back, they went wherever they went, they cut a new check with his name on it. Is that legal?
I don't know.
But they did it because they wanted to be politically correct.
This is in America?
Yeah, it was in like Iowa or someplace
Well, then
like
why
that.
didn't the woman go? If I
No,
was
the
a
woman wasn't going to argue. The husband, the guy's wife wasn't going to say anything.
Was she there?
I don't know. They
Oh.
didn't say.
I guess
But the
we
point
lost
of the
call.
I said the point of the matter is that probably could have been a credit card call, but
I didn't know. Are we selling something?
no, the number is so close
Oh, okay.
that sometimes they get calls. But the point is that the bank, to avoid a problem, caved into this man.
Yeah.
Would they have caved into me or you?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. That's the problem, Dennis. That's the problem. We're supposed to be politically correct. Nobody's on their side is politically correct for us. And this is why Americans are tired. Real, true Americans, you and I, we are tired. Why? We're tired of being called racists.
I'm tired of being blamed for everything.
And it's not our fault. It's, just because we don't agree with something or somebody does not make us racists. And I've told people, I don't know how many times, if you're calling me a racist, you need to look in the mirror and see what a true racist is.
It's amazing because getting back to what we were talking about earlier with Frank, I listen to this guy and I'm getting to the point where I just shake my head when I hear him talk. And he calls people racist. He has got to be the biggest racist person I've ever heard on the radio. The more he talks, the bigger his head gets. And the more he thinks that, he has all the answers, and they all point to white person wrong, black person right.
This is just totally, and it's amazing.
And there's a lot of people out there that feel like that.
Well, I'm sure they do. We're tired of being told, like you just said, we are the problem. Why aren't they the problem? Why aren't they, if they are people who have their hand out and are getting everything for nothing, why aren't they the problem? Because you and I are working and providing it, but we're the problem because we can't accept them. It's not that we don't accept them, we already have. We're giving them everything. But why don't they have the responsibility or integrity to go out and try to make
because
things
they
better?
don't have to.
And
they
this
don't
is,
have
and
to.
by the way, this is for the people who, you know who you are, and we've done this before. Don't call me up and tell me I've been out of work for a year and it's not my fault. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. We're tired of non-Americans, illegal Americans, being treated better than Americans.
I tell you, if I was somebody that was here legally, but they weren't a citizen yet, and had been waiting 3, 4, 5 years, and I saw stuff like what's going on now, where they're pulling people in like from Syria, and they're going to make them a citizen, I'd be very upset.
Oh, I'd be livid. Yeah, you're right. You're going to have to help me with the hearing. Hello, you're on. Thanks for holding.
Hi, I just wanted to answer Dennis's question about the marching band competitions.
Yeah.
My grandson is in the NFA marching band, and they probably won't have another big regional competition until next fall.
Okay.
We don't know a date.
All right.
Okay.
How many of them have you been to?
I went to a big one about 3 months ago at NFA. It was really beautiful.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's been a while since I've been to one, but I'll tell you, the last one I was at it gave me goosebumps, some of them bands.
Oh yeah.
Now, it seems to me it's not publicized well enough. I'm not sure. Do you think that?
Yeah, I think you're right. I didn't. There are no flyers up or anything like that when they have these things. I don't see enough publicity either. But
Well, if we're still here in the fall, please call and
Yeah,
remind us ahead of time.
I hear
I'll
about the.
still be around.
You hear
My
the
grandson is only
advertisements
a
all the
sophomore,
time for the Coast
so
Guard
we got
band.
a couple more years.
What was that, caller?
I said my grandson is a sophomore. He's playing the saxophone, and he's still got a couple more years in the NFA band. So
Oh, that's cool. What were you saying, Eric?
We hear the ads all the time for the Coast Guard
Yeah.
bands. But I never hear, I mean, you're right. I don't hear any ads for any of the schools, and they do a lot of work. I mean, when I've gone out to play tennis on a Saturday morning, say early fall, just before school starts, you see in New London the cheerleading squad or the band is getting out there and practicing, and so they're out there before actually school starts and practicing. I remember doing that when I was growing up too, but you don't hear a lot of the schools doing that.
well, the big regional band competitions. Sometimes they'll have one in Massachusetts, or they'll have one in Virginia, or somewhere weird like that. The one that was 3 months ago is like, it's very rare that they have one in the area. Once in a while, I noticed that Waterford High School will have one too.
Yeah, I would love to go to one of those.
They don't have them that often.
I was telling Eric that if you do go, you want to sit up high in the bleachers as you can because of with the choreograph, the way they're dancing around, and they got all these moves, and it's
Yeah, they got the flag girls there, the flag teams with them, and all of that. It's beautiful. It really is.
All I've ever seen,
Beautiful to watch.
the movies that show the competitions sometimes, and I mean they're really good. But that's all choreographed.
you know what
And
really.
don't you miss halftime with the football games? We don't get to see the bands anymore.
Oh, that's right. They don't have bands during halftime.
Well,
You-
it's
you-
like they have them, but when
You
they
don't get
come
to see
back
'em.
to the game after chit-chatting about the game, you'll see the band kind of marching off the field. We don't get to watch that stuff anymore. They don't televise that. I don't know why.
You know,
Used to
if
be able
they
to
now
watch
when
these
they like the
halftime.
NFA one that you just went to.
Yeah.
Now, whoever wins that competition, are they moving into a higher level where they compete somewhere else? Is that what you were saying?
They do. These are called regional competitions, and you'll have bands from Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Virginia, New York. When they have these big competitions, they're regional bands, and they're top bands from certain areas that do these competitions. Yeah, they're all getting trophies. and
I
stuff.
want to throw an idea out to our new mayor of New London, and I think to have the regional competitions, a really nice spot for that would be Fort Trumbull. That big
Yeah, it
open
would be
field, you got
beautiful
the
down there,
hills
yeah.
where you could sit on.
Yeah, beautiful.
That would be an
that'd
excellent,
be
spot. So, Mr. Mayor, let's get working on that, would you please?
He's not listening.
Okay.
Thank you, caller, very
Have a
much.
good night. Bye.
All right. So you're tired of illegals getting better treatment
Well,
than
I just-
Americans.
I don't-
And then, like exactly what you said, the people have been waiting for 3 years or 5 years, and these people are going to get put ahead of the line. That's just not right.
And I saw a piece on the news where you don't hear much about the people coming in from Mexico anymore. We don't hear about that, but it's still going on. And now that the whole families are coming in, and we've reached a point where we don't have any more space for them, and they put them in detention centers I guess that's what they call it, detention center or something like that. But it's getting to the point where now they can't keep them there. They can only keep them there for a short period of time, but they can't find places for them to live. So now they're trying to get them to go with other families, but it's costing us tons and tons of money. And it's getting to the point of where just because you're not hearing about the Mexican people coming in over that border, they're still pouring in over that border. So now they're pouring in from there. Now they're coming in through New York and all them areas from the Middle East. Now, come on, folks, wake up. What's going to happen tomorrow if all of a sudden they do away with food stamps? What happens if we don't have no more money for food stamps? Does that mean you're going to have to get a job? Where are you going to get a job?
There'll be a run on the grocery stores. Everybody will be stealing.
We gotta pull back. Like Trump says, we gotta stop. I don't care if they're Muslims. I don't care who they are. We've got to stop letting people into this country because it's the proper thing to do, or whatever the hell it is.
Did anybody ever do any? And I should have done it. I keep forgetting the research that I've heard on the radio that we had no immigration from 1925 until 64 or 24 to 65. I mean, I never did know.
I think people have always come in, but I think they've come in under different circumstances.
Okay. We don't trust people, Americans, and this is, we don't trust the mainstream media, and we don't trust politicians. All you hear from the mainstream media are lies, and they go after, all they ever do is go after Republicans. They never go after how crooked the Democrats are. And everybody's crooked in Washington. No wonder nobody trusts politicians. How do you go into being a new senator or a new congressman in Washington and are able to afford to live there and those standards without being corrupt? You're taking money. And the only one, that's why Trump is doing so well, because he knows, everybody knows he doesn't have to take a dime. Now, and if you don't believe me, how did Harry Reid get in there with nothing? And he's coming out how many years later?
Well, not just him. You have Feinstein. Her husband has made all kinds of money off the government. Pelosi, the same deal.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it's crooked, but everybody seems to be okay with it. It doesn't affect them. Are you kidding me?
But that's the ignorance of America. This is not how America was founded. And I know this sounds like we're harping on the same thing, and we're not. We want to be so much more ideologically correct, and we don't want to be corrupt or anything. I'm not corrupt, and I'm tired of being told if I don't think the way they do, I'm wrong. The problem is, it's the people who keep putting the same people in office. This is why we need term limits. Now, the ones who have been in Washington, the politicians, yes, they are corrupt, and that includes Marco Rubio and Kasich and everybody who's running. I'm sure everybody. And it doesn't include Trump. He hasn't taken money from anybody. But if you've taken money from lobbyists, you're corrupt. That means you're beholden to them.
I bet you right now, one group in Washington that's flipping out has got to be lobbyists. Because if Trump gets in office, lobbyists could become a thing of the past. And you can bet they're doing everything they can to convince these people that are running for president, Republican, well, not so much Democrats because they only got one, but that they're pressuring them. Look, you got to get Trump out of that picture. And that's in this debate tonight, which starts at 9 o'clock, I believe, or 8 o'clock.
I think it's 9.
Okay. It's going to be, I think it's the last debate they're going to have.
No, there's one in January.
Oh, there is? Okay. But this is a big one. And, don't be fooled. I'm going to tell you right up front, folks, I'm a Trump man. All right? So just keep that in mind. Cruz they're making this huge deal out of the fact that Cruz is ahead of Trump by 10 points or whatever it is. Only in Iowa. But the media is not, they're making it sound like the end of Trump is near. Lee talks about this too. I think Trump's push is finally met its whatever, and it's going to slowly dissipate and all this. It's not.
Not yet. You got to remember, once Iowa finishes, the Iowa caucuses, even though I still, to this day, don't understand why everything has to start in Iowa. Once Iowa finishes, and a lot of these candidates realize there's no chance for us. I mean, come on. Rick Santorum, there's no chance.
You have
Mike Huckabee, who I like, no chance.
I like Huckabee too.
Ron Paul, he's at like 1%. Yes, I like him. No chance.
What's Graham? Where's Graham?
Lindsey, who?
Yeah. Lindsey Graham.
You know what,
how many percentage is he?
It's probably less than a point.
He's like 0.
And no chance. So once they finally leave, then you're going to see all these supporters for these people go to Trump, Cruz, Rubio.
I don't think Rubio's. I think it's too early in the game for Rubio to be elected president. I think he keeps at it. He's got a really good shot next time around.
I'm not sure he's going to keep at it. He's not running for his seat again. If he doesn't make it, he's out. He's not going to make it. He said he's had it with Washington. So if he's had it with Washington, why are you running for president? So, all right. This includes that we don't trust the mainstream media, the politicians, the elites, like you said, lobbyists, judges. How many judges, Supreme Court judges and judges across the United States are doing illegal things? They're not following the Constitution. And I keep hearing things that Obama never swore on the Constitution, the Bible. Good evening, you're on. Thanks for holding. Hello?
Hello. I just tuned in, and this is a time that I'm very sick in my country. My country that my family is.
Can you hear?
It's very muffled.
You have a problem with your
for
phone?
all since it's been created.
We can't hear you,
Created.
sir.
I'm part native, and I'm offended by what you people are. I consider you people invaders, sort of, because I'm English and I'm Native American, and I'm like, I feel like you people are like, you're the invaders. You came here after me, and you twisted our values and our morals and ethics. You really did.
What are your morals and what are your values?
You twisted them.
When you say you're Native American, are you Indian?
twisted them for your own personal gains.
We can't hear you, and you obviously don't want to hear us. So, all right.
No, he was saying from what I'm gathering, he's Native American, and we are the invaders, and we came here and we twisted all their beliefs around, all the things they've learned. We've twisted around, and we just came here and destroyed them. Well, to some extent, he's right.
He's absolutely right.
But to some extent, he's not right, because before we came here, everybody thinks that all the Indians were these nice, peaceful people.
No.
They were killing each other almost as much as the Muslims over on the other side of the pond, as they call it. We didn't help matters when we came here.
No.
But I didn't come here and do that. So how long do you pay the price for the past? Should I still be paying the price for what happened to when the Pilgrims? I guess that could you start, and then you could go before the Pilgrims, because the Vikings came here and they butchered and slaughtered Indians. So we want to start with them, the Scandinavian countries. It's their fault, not my fault. I didn't come here on a boat.
How many people you killed?
Last count, none. Did I change anybody's way of thinking or values in life? No.
Maybe it's him again. He can. Hello, you're on.
Hello, Eric. You hung up on me. Why? I'm a loving American. I just want my country to be loved, and you don't love it.
Well, no. First of all, the reason I hung up on you, we couldn't understand you. We couldn't hear you. And we asked you questions and you weren't answering.
He hung up.
Did you hang up
Well,
on
listen
us?
here. I want to come on your show and debate you and to smash you were right in the mouth with everything you have to say.
Well, first of all, I'm not going to let you come on my
You're
show and hit me in the
racist,
mouth.
Your people are doing
I mean,
bad
obviously.
things. Your people are doing bad things in the Holy Land. And I want to come there. I want to come to you. And I want to debate you. Fair and square.
Fine.
And if you win, you get everything. If I win, I just have to have you acknowledge that you're wrong.
Why is this about winning?
Eric? How's that sound? I'll give you shekels and gold. I'll give you everything you want. I'll give you everything you want. You're salivating. Look at you. I'll give you everything. I'll give you everything. I'm going to be right. I'm going to smash you guys.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll tell you what we'll do.
I want to be on your show.
Will you listen to me? Listen to me.
I will.
I'll tell you what we're going to do. You have your agent call our agent. We'll do lunch and we'll discuss it.
Agents, I'm Robert Chapman. I'm over
I'm
here
being
on Star
funny.
Street. You come over to my house and we'll talk, okay? I'm no agent, okay? I'm gonna
No, it was a joke.
Because
Obviously.
you're worthless. You're
Hang up on him. I don't
You're
hear that
garbage.
shit no more.
Take your Trump
Really?
and shove
Yeah,
it up your
all right.
ass.
We're worthless. Listen to yourself.
Listen.
Listen to yourself. Play this back on demand and listen to yourself. You sound just like us, but on the other side of the coin.
You're more than welcome to have a show just like we have a show. If you would like, you come to a producers meeting, you
No, he wants
present
to.
yourself, and you can have your own show.
He wants to
But-
come on and debate you.
It doesn't matter if he wants to come on or not. I'm not going to let somebody come on and not even listen. He wants to be heard
Yeah.
100%, which is fine. But we have other people who've called, and we've asked them questions. We've understand. The other problem is, for every one person like this, we have 20, 30, 40 people who agree with us because we're tired. I'm going to, he may not like what I'm going to say next, but I mean, and you've seen this. Obama, Drew. Obama always, he never criticizes black on white crime. I'm not a racist. I have friends who are black, and they know who I am. And I have friends who are Muslim, and I have friends who are Chinese, and I have friends. It doesn't matter what. If you treat me with respect, I treat you with respect. Hey, you're white and you're Christian, and so we're friends, right? But Obama created this mess. He criticizes black on white, but never criticizes. He criticizes white on black, but never criticizes the black on white crime. So, and then the one last thing, I was going to read this whole thing, but just to let you know, George Soros, Obama was not this learned man that everybody thinks. He was a moderate, educated man. But George Soros made him. And this Marlin, you mentioned it to me and I read it, George Soros, who doesn't even live in this country, is buying up...
we got it right here.
He's buying up the Marlin firearms.
And we got 3 minutes.
And but he also owns Progressive Insurance.
Oh, he does?
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Flow.
Yeah.
And if you own a Progressive Insurance, you need to get rid of it and go to somebody else.
But I like watching Flow.
I don't really care about it. I'm not buying something that's owned by George Soros because my idea with George Soros, you want to buy the Marlin factory for how much? Say how much money was he buying Marlin's factory for? All right, just arbitrarily, say $5 billion, okay?
Oh, okay.
I would take the $5 billion and he's going to put that business that out of business. I would say, wait a minute. Where he's not making anything? I'm going to go across the street and open up another gun factory. Why?
And he's not doing it. He's not closing them down because he's not making any money. He's closing them down because he's trying to make it so that you can't buy a gun or buy ammunition. This is another way of taking away your guns. This is what he's doing. Here's the article. I don't know if we got enough time for this. It says,
it's all yours.
It says Marlin Firearms is closing its doors. It was bought and closed by George Soros. This was checked on Truth or Fiction, who verified it. They can be trusted more than Snoops. Marlin Firearms has already closed its doors. They are doing it to us, America. All gun owners and sportsmen need to see this. We cannot rely on the media to inform us of these happenings. Something you may not know is happening. Who is buying companies manufacturing guns? For the last several years, a company called Freedom Group has been buying up guns and ammunition factories. Some of the companies are Bushmaster, Marlin, Remington, DPMS, Dakota Arms, and HR. Some people worry that the Freedom Group is going to control most of the firearm companies in the United States. If you control the manufacturer, you can decide to stop selling to civilians. What a perfect way to control guns. And then it goes on to say some more. This is a group that Soros is involved in.
Right.
It says George Soros is Obama's chief financer.
Yes.
As you were saying, I think. He wants to restrict or ban all civilian guns. Pass this on to your freedom-loving friends. You know, this kind of stuff, you know, a lot of people think, yeah, right, sure, okay. But you know what? They did it to the Jews in Germany. They've done it in other countries. The governments have gone in and done the same thing to their civilians, and then they just take totally over.
Yeah.
And it can happen here. We're not that big deal anymore.
Look at the title, people. It's called In My Opinion. So that's what we're giving you. And you're welcome to call, but be nice about it. See you next week.